All right. Um, let's talk about this because I'm kind of getting tired of it. Um, I don't know what the latest fascination is with having pretty much every single match that exists have an interruption. Um, it's it's old. It's gotten old, and it's not fun anymore. It's to the point to where you can just smell it. That all right, who's coming in to interfere? Because this is just getting stupid, and it happens so often. I'm like, come on, man. Like that was the whole fun of having someone come in to do an interruption was because it broke the norm. Like whatever happened to just a clean fight? Why is this a thing all the time now? You got Bronson Reed coming in on Saturday night's main event to interfere, and because it's like come on, man, it uh and then you had Braun Breaker come in with Rollins trying to do the qualifying match for Money in the Bank, and he's interfering. Dom comes in, he interferes. Like, oh my god. I'll say this, and this is where I would love to see something like this to where if you're gonna do interfering stuff, fine. But give it to guys that don't normally get screen time. You know? Like for instance, if you have Rusev going against hell, I don't know. Um I don't know, pick somebody. But then since Otis and Tozawa have been getting the crap kicked out of him, have Otis run in and start interfering and messing with Rusev's matches. That to me makes more sense because you're almost trying to start inserting Otis into storylines again. And now you're giving him more screen time because what's the point of paying people if we're not gonna see him? And just knowing that Tozawa was going against Rusev last night, you're going, he ain't gonna make it. That'd be like putting Spike Dudley against Big Show for a match. Spike's not gonna do anything, so it's more of a gimmick fight. But then you can sit there and use that as a bridge to get Otis back into the mix because Otis was over how long ago, and he's disappeared. He's not around anymore. Like, well, what's the point? What's the point of having someone who was over that we were enjoying that you're just like, nah. Um, or if you're gonna have an interference, have it be for someone who's coming back. You know, like Cody did. You know, and like okay, that makes sense. Or whenever you had R-Truth interfere at the Backlash match with Orton and Cena, and then R-Truth fought Cena next. I'm going, okay, that makes sense. But when you know if a Judgment Day member is having a match, someone else is coming in and messing with it. Hello, Liv Morgan came back last night, which was great, and I just kind of went, "Damn, girl, how did you finish your movie stuff that quick?" To be like, "And I'm back." Still looking fine as hell, by the way. There's something about that woman's smile that just, makes my heart a flutter. But I don't, I don't see how this is good quality action or this is good quality storytelling when everybody's coming in and interfering. Just have like a 6-man tag match. Have an 8-man tag match. Have a lumberjack match. There you go. Put I know McIntyre's out, but if he wasn't hurt and getting some time to heal, have him and Damian Priest have a lumberjack match. Pull those dudes out from the back. No interferences, no outside interruptions. You know, have cuz you know Money in the Bank is going to be full of interruptions. Full of them. And it's going to be dumb. It's going to be dumb. It's like, oh, here we go again. You know, Lyra versus Becky needs to be a lumberjack match. Get the other ladies out there. No interferences. If you're going to have Jade Cargill versus Tiffany, lumberjack match. Get the other ladies out there. No interference. No Naomi running in. None of that kind of crap. Put all that to an end. Because you're solving so many things at that point. You have so many people that are getting TV time. And what you can do, and let's say this. If you're going to do interruptions in matches, make it interesting. So have a lumberjack match to where you just slowly kind of see the crowd of women just turn to see whether they're going to be on Tiffany's side or whether they're going to be on Jade's side. And then next, it's just an all-out brawl for everybody going in, and they're just beating the ever-living hell out of each other. And the camera operators are going, ring outside. What do I focus on? That would be fun because it's a little bit more different than what we've been getting lately. Because it just seems like ever since WrestleMania weekend, it's just, you know what we need? 10,000 interruptions a broadcast. That's what we need. Let's do it. And I also thought it was interesting that normally WWE has a big old LED wall, and you'll sometimes watch people come in from the garage and they're like, hit my music, and you're watching them from behind as they go through the curtain, and you can see the production team and everybody there that's got their headphones on and headsets on, and you got the Jumbotron and the screens look like on the TVs on the wall, and you go through the curtain, you see the backs of the LED thing, which I always thought that was kind of interesting. I'm going, man, that's just like almost like a puzzle that you're putting things together. I just thought it was really cool. And then you come out there, and then it's from the back, and you can get the crowd's reaction the moment that they see him, and then they go from the back and then pan it to the front. Like, I really enjoy that. I always thought that those moments were completely incredible. It's just sad that almost 100% of the time, that's just the first shot of the show, and you never get it again. It's very, very, very rare. Much like having a match be won cleanly is very rare now. And damn it, lost my train of thought. Whatever. Either way, interruptions in matches is getting stupid. Knock it off. Be creative with it. Oh, the venue. There's just this little ass thing. It just looked like a glorified door frame, and that was it. And all the pyrotechnics were up in the air. They couldn't, like, it just looked like it was crammed into this area. And I'm going, this feels very much like that Royal Rumble where Cena came back. I think it was, 2008? Something like that. And he was supposed to be gone, 4 months longer than he was, but he came back. But that, to me, was like the shortest ramp to the ring from the curtain in a Royal Rumble ever. I'm going, Cena couldn't even do his throw the towel and start sprinting because you're already at the ring, and then you go. That's how it felt last night. I'm going, it's very peculiar that there's that little itty bitty space. All right. I remember what the venue was. I watched it really, really, really late last night. And I'll admit, I was so exhausted and so tired. I was falling asleep during it. So my recollection of a lot of it is gone. Um, but I will say, with what they've been doing with Jey Uso, I'm not a fan of his, but I'm less of a detractor of his. Um, his mic work is great. Well, I can't say it's great. His mic work is good. And it really kind of helps him with his I only have 7 moves. Um, but it's entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's all that I want. I still say he's on par with the new Daniel Bryan, to where it's his entrance that really got him over and got everybody to love it, because it's like, hey, here's an entrance we can all be a part of, unlike some other people who are just going woo or boo, and just doing like a dog begging for treats. um but yeah, I'm tired of the same song and dance, man. Like, when are we gonna do something new? um I was glad to see Penta finally start to come out of being buried, because I thought for sure he was not going to make it. And I'm going, you gotta give him some credit. You gotta put something behind him again. He started off this year hot, had never lost a match, then lost every single one of them. Lost every one of them after that. I'm probably over exaggerating by maybe, I think he's won twice since February. And you're going, why do you get this guy and then bury him? No, I'm thirsty as hell. But I don't know, man. And I get that. I think with Penta, it's a little bit more difficult, when he does like the Mexican Destroyer. Because you have to, one, find someone who's willing to take the move. And then two, you have to find someone out of those that are willing that can do it safely. Because the Mexican Destroyer, it's rough looking. But I'm going, if Chelsea Green can take it like a champ, and I still haven't seen anyone that took the Mexican Destroyer as good as her, except maybe Pete Dunne. Because I want to say Penta's second match was against Pete Dunne, because I think the first one was against Gable. Dude, that that match with Pete Dunne was incredible. And I know I saw something recently to where he had cut his hair, and I'm going, that might have been what you needed, because I'm sorry, your hair looked like you were a 16-year-old kid that goes, I don't smell. It's been 6 months since I've showered, but I don't smell, because you look like you smelled. Your hair was just kind of oily and greasy looking and just disheveled, and it looked gross. I'm sorry, it looked gross. Like, you need to have some nice flowing locks like Drew McIntyre or Damian Priest, but it looked oily and gross. So that was like Baron Corbin when he kept trying to tell himself, "Nah, I'm not losing my hair." I'm going, "Bruh, I can see your scalp from the top, the whole way back." Time to admit it. I did. And it was just crazy, because Penta's so talented, does so well, and can sell just as well as he puts a move out. So I'm going, that's what you want in someone who's doing matches, and that's what you want in someone who's doing your shows. Like, that's what you want. But how in the hell are you supposed to get them to the point to where people enjoy them if you constantly bury them? Because everybody was so into Penta in the beginning, and now the only people that really seem like they're into him are the people on the sides of the entrance where they're doing the Seto Mielo type thing, and that's it. Like, there's just kind of like, like, because you buried him. Had this dude who was incredible, and you buried him. And I get, because there's probably not a lot of people that will sit there and be willing to take the Mexican Destroyer and things like that. I'm like, all right. But Gable taking it last night looked awesome. Like, I will give Gable credit. His in-ring ability is great. And if he's going for more of a, like a douchey Kurt Angle, he's pulling it off incredibly. But Kurt Angle was still likable because he'd be okay with being the butt of jokes. And he didn't mind because it was entertaining, and people would always watch to see what is he doing next. And like, how are they going to make fun of him next? You know, when they got that little itty bitty cowboy hat, or when Edge has him reading these things, and he has stuff like "I have no penis" or whatever the hell it was written on there. It's been years since I've seen that, but you know, he had no problems being the butt of jokes because it was fun. It's entertaining. That's in the name, is being entertaining. And I think we're trying too hard lately to get into more of this deep-rooted, serious, in a world where Jean-Claude Van Damme is trying to become the next barista. I'm like, oh my God. Yes, give us a good story. You don't have to try so hard with it. You know, you have Karrion Kross popping up. Why isn't he going and interfering in some matches to just mess with people and be like, this is where my vision goes? And I was secretly hoping that the third person in with Seth Rollins was going to be Karrion Kross. But then I went, I don't think it will, because Karrion and Seth are almost right on that same level. But what if Karrion Kross is trying to put together his own stable to go against Seth? That, it would be some great storytelling, because you've been planting that seed for a while. Like when you were watching the first Avengers movie and you're watching the post-credit scene and you just see this chair and you turn around and you just see Thanos grin at you. Well, you didn't see Thanos for a few years, but they just kept planting that seed of here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. So what if they're doing Karrion Kross like Thanos, to where let's build this out, and he's got this plan that he's working on, but you know, you got to give it time to bake and rise. And he has his own faction stable, and he just kind of comes up and he goes, all right. But you'd have to get the belts on certain people. What I think would be great is, we've already seen it. It's already started. But I would love to see in an interview in the background, Karrion Kross talking to Dominic Mysterio. The heel of heels, who is Eddie Guerrero 2.0. And then on another episode, there's another time where he's talking with Dominic Mysterio, and there's also another person that we can't see. But if you can get Karrion Kross to start taking some of these people that have belts, that are heels that have belts, I think it would be great if, let's say, Becky beats Lyra at Money in the Bank for the Women's Intercontinental title. You see Karrion Kross talking to her too. And he's basically putting together a stable of champions to give himself credence to go against Seth and his stable. Even if, and I bet you bet you they would enjoy doing it. To where you have Seth against Becky in various stables. I'm like, come on now. Although I don't think it's going to happen based off of the promos that Becky and Lyra cut last night, where she was talking about my hot husband. I'm going, it's not going to happen. But I think it would be great. I really do. I think it'd be great because you're already starting to sow even more seeds of dissension in the Judgment Day. And I'm going, can we fast forward this a little bit? Because it's just like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Break them up already. You've been slowly dragging this out. And when you don't put them on screen all the time, people lose interest. You have to kind of, you have to read the room. You just had the other, on SmackDown, what's the date? Seriously? Freaking Windows. On the 23rd, you had Grayson Waller against Sheamus for real this time. And the crowd was going after Austin Theory. So I'm going, you need to build on this and you need to get him away from Grayson Waller now. Because the crowd was, he's basically becoming over again. And it's like, you can't keep teasing this anymore. You've been teasing it for 3 months. That's too long. Unless you're just slowly starting to cause more and more dissension at different levels to where it just finally breaks apart. But you have to get them apart. People are waiting for it. And when it doesn't happen, they just lose interest. That's like the equivalent of, ooh, you want this? Do you want this? Yeah, I do. Do you want this? Yeah, I do. You want this? Yeah, give it to me. Do you want this? Yes, give it to me. Do you want this? Yes. Do you want this? No. And you just say, screw it, and you just walk off. You're getting to that point of screw it and just walk off. I understand that there was a difference between Vince would run a story idea and it would last at most 6 months. And then it was done and gone and on to the next one. And you're wanting to have it be different. I mean, you know, there's a reason why Gable is still, after Penta came to, I think it was the first episode of Raw. Or was it? No, I think it was the second one. Ever since he came, you had Gable talking about can't beat luchadors. Well, now we haven't seen El Grande Americano in, 2 weeks? We've seen Gable, and Gable's lost every match, and it's always been against a luchador. So you're constantly going back and forth with this. It's been 5 months. And okay, now what are you doing? What's next? Where do we go? What are you doing with it? Is he just going to be perpetually stuck with never being able to beat a luchador? So then what? What does he do then? His whole American Made buddies. That whole stable's dead. You bring them out once every 4 months. People are like, yeah, just move on, because there's nothing of substance there. And the sad part is the Raw tag team division is so ungodly awful that it's pretty much the New Day and the War Raiders. That's it. Which, speaking of tag teams, the fact that the Wyatt Six came back, I'd been waiting for them for a long time, and I'm going to finally. And if I would have done a little bit of research, I probably would have been able to figure out, I'm like, oh, Bray Wyatt's birthday is a Friday. They've been out of the picture for 5 months. Yeah, they're going to bring him back on his birthday. That would make sense. But they came back in the middle of the tag match to where you have DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits. Now you have Fraxium in the mix. And now you're going to throw in Who from the Wyatt Six. So the SmackDown tag team is just flourishing, where it's just like Raw is giving you the same 6 people over and over again, and you're just going. So now I'm going, all right. You have Rusev and Aleister Black. Well, Rusev's Raw, Aleister Black's SmackDown. Which is funny because I never really liked Aleister Black before, but for whatever reason now I'm going, yeah, I'm all right with this. Let's get him more stuff. His whole let's do the slow leg lift into kicking with the black mass. I'm going, all right. To me, that was the equivalent of doing the whole theatrics for Sister Abigail, but I'm sorry. The theatrical build for a finisher move is never higher than when you're going for Sister Abigail. And I even like Alexa Bliss where she kind of reaches around and goes for a DDT and then wah, I'm going. And kudos to Bo Dallas for essentially picking up where his brother left off. Bray Wyatt was one of my favorites. And since his birthday is 2 days before mine, I figure 2 days after mine, we'll talk about it a little bit because he was such a fantastic ideasman that God, I would love to have seen what Triple H would have let him do. And the fact that Vince let him do what he did do is actually kind of surprising because usually Vince just has to have his hand in everything and he has to have his approval and it has to be this specific way. And it doesn't seem like H is the same. But God, rest in peace, man. I miss you terribly. Like the wrestling's just not the same without him. But the fact that Bo Dallas is being Uncle Howdy to keep that part of his brother going is beyond incredible. And I don't know if any of you saw the little video to where Bray Wyatt's son wanted to be the Fiend for his birthday, like his son's birthday. And there was a guy who did the original mask for Bray. That made one for his kid and the whole outfit and even had the dreads and everything. And I was just like, that's such a beautiful moment. And it sucks that I think the kid's 6 and he's just going to have to know about his dad from stories from other people and then watching his dad on wrestling. But I think it would be kind of awesome if he takes up his dad's mantle, 12, 13, 14, 15 years from now and becomes son of Wyatt or Bray's son. Don't know, that's dumb. Don't do that. God, that's such a bad portman too. But yeah, it was such a beautiful moment and I got a little teary-eyed from it, but I mean that's kind of what this whole entertainment portion is that you get attached to people and you enjoy seeing them on screen and you want to see them do well or even in some cases do bad, but do bad well. I never minded Dom. I know a lot of people hate him and I'm going, that's the whole point, but I always liked him because he reminded me of Eddie. And he has, tried to do the Three Amigos and the frog splash and does the whole booby shaking thing. And instead of Latino heat, he has Latino cheat. I think it'd be kind of fun to have one of them shirts at some point. But he's just so stuck in on that character every single time and everywhere that I have a lot of respect for him. And he's perfectly fine being the heel. And I'm curious what'll happen because ever since before WrestleMania, when they were just booing the ever living hell out of him anytime he tried to cut a promo, well, he hasn't tried to cut a promo in ring since. And people cheered the hell out of him when he won the IC title from Breaker at 41. So I'm going, how are they going to react now? Have other people realize that Dom really is Eddie 2.0? Who knows? But I would like to see something with that happen. And see what happens whenever he does try to cut a promo, and see if he's cheered or whatever. But yeah, you gotta get him away from Judgment Day, or Judgment Day has to kind of break up, because now that you're adding Roxana Perez and she seems like she's warming up to Dom, and then Liv comes back, and then after Liv's match when she lost. And she basically went off on Raquel and said, "You're the veteran, you should know better," and walked off. And I'm going, how much dissension are we trying to cause in the Judgment Day? And then Carly was like, "You got to stop eating her nugs." Like, I'm like, it was probably one of the best Judgment Day moments in a while that was actually pure entertainment instead of just, oh, come on. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I'm too much of a purist, I can't really get behind a lot of excess. You know, give me something that's more to the point. You want to sprinkle in a little from here to there and kind of extend some things out, and I'm fine with that. But, you know, you see interviews with Chris Van Vliet and other super fans and stuff like that, so where they're going, you know, just let them cook. And I'm going, we have it. The meat's almost at congratulation, because you're past well done. You have to find that sweet spot. And out of all of this, I think I feel bad for CM Punk, because it seems like they don't know what to do with him, because it's not his time yet to go after Cena. But I got a feeling Punk's going to be after Cena by or on SummerSlam. But that's down the line towards the end. So is Cena going to be one of the one that turns him? Because people were thinking Saturday night's main event, he was ready to, you know, take out R-Truth, and just kind of stopped. And I think that was all just a ploy. I don't think that was actually him just kind of going, ugh. Because the look on his face, he wasn't looking around like he was questioning his actions. He just kind of froze. And then I think that was all just deployed to have the ref finally turn around and look and go, "Hey, what are you doing with the belt? Give me that damn thing." And he's like, "Nut shot, AA, 1, 2, 3. And now I'll hit you with it." This is why I said Cena should have done his heel turn about 5 years ago. You know, they've mentioned it numerous times to where his in-ring ability isn't where it used to be. And I think that's why you get certain people to get in there and play their part, so that it kind of helps mask it a little bit. And then they keep referring to, well, you get nothing, so he's not doing anything else extra. So you're masking it. But okay. Who's going to bridge the gap between Orton and Truth to Punk? Because when Punk cut his promo after WrestleMania, he's like, "Well, you're doing your bullshit." And I'm going, that is why Punk is loved. And I'm sorry, I don't care what you say, in no way is Punk a babyface. He's not. Punk is essentially an alternative Austin. He will tiptoe that line between I'm going to talk truth to you, but I'm going to be a jerk at the same time. And it's hard to wiggle that line. The only other one that I've seen that does that to that same kind of degree is Gunther. But this is why I think you have to have Gunther win at Money in the Bank. You have to. There's no question about it. He has to win. Because if he doesn't, he has literally nowhere to go. And you can renew the rivalry again. At that point, you could probably have Jimmy go after the title. But Gunther has to win. Has to. I don't see any other way to where it plays out, because there's no one else, unless you're going to try and put Gunther against Rusev and have that be a thing. But why would Rusev go after Gunther if he doesn't have a belt? So then you can have Gunther still feuding with Jay, but then also at the same time have him having to fend off Rusev. Because you got to have something in there, and there's almost nothing available. There's no person at that same echelon right now that has any sort of push to where you could be like, well, he can kind of be in the mix too. So Gunther has to win. I mean, that's my only real prediction, besides I think Becky finally takes the title from Lyra. And then you make Lyra relevant again by helping give her a push to go after Becky, because everybody loves Becky, but she's kind of a jackass, but at the same time she's spitting truth. So she's kind of riding that same angle as Punk. So I don't know. That's my takes on what's going on. And sorry, it's been a little bit since I've done one of these, but I'm gonna try it and do better from here on out. But yeah. What are your predictions? Do you think I'm right about how Gunther has to win Money in the Bank, and how Becky's probably going to take Lyra's title? Because you have to give Lyra a struggle. She hasn't had a struggle. Going through the brackets to eventually win it has been her only struggle. She's barely been relevant in anything. And I almost hate to say it, but you kind of got to get rid of both U.S. titles. There's too many titles. And there's more hype around the U.S. titles than there is the IC titles, which shouldn't be how things go. It shouldn't. You should have more hype around the IC titles, and there's just kind of a ho-hum. And get LA Knight away from the damn US title. Get him to go after Dom, because I feel bad for the guy. He's just in this loop of just going after the US title. Just leave the US title alone. And I think the only reason why he's there is to help give Fatu some relevancy and have a big name go after him to boost him up. Jacob Fatu's already over. Move LA Knight on. Have Penta go after the US title, because he went after the IC title at WrestleMania, but he hasn't gone anywhere near it since. What are we doing? Like, it seems like such a jumbled mess that there's just, let's have these people, and so stop playing around with all these damn interruptions and start actually putting people on paths towards titles to give them some relevancy, both the titles and the people, because this is just getting ridiculous. Yeah. All right, rant over. Y'all have a good one. We'll hopefully be back Saturday for SmackDown. So yeah, see ya.